So I am with Heather Reichel, and we are at the EQUUS Film Festival, Meadville, Pennsylvania tour stop.
Yes.
And we just finished.
Wrapped up.
And wrapped it up all up last night with hurricane tornado mode.
Yes. We have the distinction of being the first tour stop. I verified this. That was canceled due to tornado warnings.
Yes, we had to cancel the last one or two films because those sirens were going like crazy.
Yes.
So let's go back over the weekend. It started on Friday night with the
Posh Puppy Parade. We had 26 posh puppies come out and take the center stage and strut their stuff with their owners. It was a wonderful event, and I think the community really enjoyed it. It was just a happy event.
I totally agree, because the way they dressed up, they did color coordination.
Yes.
And also, what I thought was so great about it was the different levels. You could see that some of them had shown before, but others were just having fun.
Yes, some were puppies that were just adorable, and I truly do thank our judges, because I didn't want that job. I did not want that job, and they did a fantastic job judging, and it was something else.
Yeah. So our judges were Daphne Yakin, who is with The Great Flip Off.
Yes.
One of our wonderful films that kind of hit it off on Saturday night.
Yeah, and she was so excited to drive all the way from Philadelphia, thank you, to be a judge. And that's why she came in Friday night early. And then she drove all the way down to Pittsburgh to stay the night afterwards.
And Daphne's film is about the bareback riders, the extinction kind of the bareback riders, and
Yes.
where they are today. It's been a movie that she's been working on for
12
years.
years. That's a lot of years to put into a film, and you can tell it shows.
And iTunes has accepted it, and
Yes.
it's going to be on the market soon.
Pre-order, please.
Yeah. And if she gets 400, then
Yes, she gets put in front of a large audience. So anybody in our viewing area, please give her some support.
it's a great film. It's
It
worth
is.
it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I
And then-
ordered mine.
And the other judge?
That was Travis from Loeffler Flowers, and he was very excited to judge as well. And like I said, no one could have done a better job than the two of them. They were both very excited, and they had a difficult decision.
I love that there were so many different levels. So you had the cute little dogs, and you had
The ones that just kind of strutted. We had therapy dogs, and there were just, I mean, it was every breed too. Well, not every breed, but it wasn't just one type of dog.
okay, exactly. It's great.
But then we went to the ICC that night.
Oh, that's right. But that's where the film was, and we had these
Yeah.
special films. Okay, let's
Yes.
talk about Life in the Doghouse.
Life in the Doghouse played first, and then the Meadville premiere of Hold Your Horses, Limit of the Law, which was the film that I worked on with Julianne Neal and JA Media. So that was a collaboration event, and Mayor Leroy Stearns got to see himself on video for the first time. He had not seen it up until that point. I had been very careful to just tell him I was good and to please come, and he did, and I think he did like it.
He's been extremely supportive.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about the film. Why do you? First of all, it's local. Part of it is local.
Yes.
It's the Hanging Barn. That's kind of part of the inspiration behind it.
Yeah. When we say local in this area,
Right.
it's pretty much anything within 75 miles.
Right, exactly.
Our neighbors are a couple miles away, but we still consider them neighbors. It's just the way we roll in Pennsylvania. So it was local. And when you say somebody did that locally, it hurts everybody's hearts here. The Meadville Tribune broke that story a couple years ago. And
the story was called The Hanging Barn, and it was
Yes.
about horses that were really severely abused.
Yeah, so much so that they were actually hung from their bellies in slings from the rafters because they could not stand properly. And horses are very tough. If I learned nothing from anything else, it was that they're resilient, they're tough, and they did come back. The two that we did the story on did come back. Cider and Tanner have loving homes, and they were amazing. But to see the photos of them in the condition they were in
That anybody
was heartbreaking.
That could do that to a horse. But I think the wonderful thing that came out of that is the film. And the fact that now we are sending out that message. You know, it could be the neighbor across the street.
Yes. Unfortunately, there's been several instances since the Hanging Barn where we've seen animal cruelty, not quite to that magnitude, but it's out there, and it's thanks to social media, we have a larger platform for that message to get out. This is not acceptable. If you feel like something's wrong, say something.
You know, I always like to be careful about both sides, because there are people that do this, and we have to keep an eye out for it. But you also have to be careful that just because you see it at one location, it doesn't necessarily mean
That it's everywhere. Right.
So do your due diligence and keep your eyes open. You can tell if horses are being abused, just look in their eyes.
Yeah, and we had that very topic come up in the second screening, where someone in the audience asked if where they had gone as a tourist was possibly an issue as well, and the way that they described how that organization went and out of their way, basically, to show where the horses lived, talked about the hours that they worked, showed them their feet, versus the other part of our movie, which is the Havasupai tribe in the Grand Canyon, and the tourists don't see them. They drop their luggage off, and these animals are basically run up and down the canyon without water, overloaded, and you know, that's not responsible tourism. You're not taking you're not taking the time, and because of that, an animal suffers. If they don't have money, they don't have that service.
Right.
So
Exactly.
if people want to stop this, then they need to quit paying money to these people that are abusing their animals. And it really isn't that hard to figure it out. You look at them, you'll know.
And one of the most important messages too is that don't take it into your own hands. Go and get law enforcement.
Absolutely.
Because lots of times if you do it yourself, there are things that won't.
You can mess it up so much that law enforcement has no other choice but to dismiss charges because you've interfered.
All right, but this weekend was two different
let's switch
things.
subjects
And
here.
we had so many wonderful films. This was an educational film, but one of the fun films was about dogs, because horse
Yes.
people love dogs.
Yes.
Life in the Doghouse was a delightfully fun film, as was Bow Wow, and so many of the other films that we showed this weekend.
Yeah, we had a lot of message films, and even Life in the Doghouse has a message, and I think that's where the independent filmmakers shine. We are able to tell the untold stories and maybe the more unpopular stories, but we have an audience, and maybe that's our soapbox.
Right.
But we can bring things to light without having to follow a Hollywood formula for success.
Yeah. And you know what's so good about this too is that I think Lisa Dearson, the founder of the EQUUS Film Festival, and myself, part of the reason that we do this, a very strong reason why we do this, is because we can offer a platform to the horse people in this world, the filmmakers that never have a chance to be seen.
Yes.
And so all of these films that people could see were films that probably never would have been seen.
Yeah.
We also had a few other people here. We had Bruce Anderson and Julianne Neal, who is the filmmaker for Hold Your Horses.
And Pony and His Boy.
And Pony and His Boy. And let's talk about Pony and His Boy.
Barry and Josh.
Right, Barry and Josh.
There were several people that walked out of the theater with tears in their eyes because of a 28-year-old pony and an 8-year-old boy.
A Down syndrome boy whose life has been turned around because of a pony named Barry.
And a pony who was given a purpose for, keeping to go.
At 28 years old. And a boy who, even though he's got Down syndrome, has a vision of having a future with horses, spends time with them.
And can tell you that horse farts stink.
The nucleus of the weekend is the films. But there were some other fun things that took place over the weekend.
Yes.
In addition to the puppy parade.
There was a carnival against animal cruelty outside on Saturday, and that was the nice weather day. It just worked that we had rain on Friday and rain on Sunday, but we had a beautiful day on Saturday for outdoor, and we had balloon animals and face painting, and they did a really good job setting that up. And it was to benefit our local animal cruelty officer, Stevie, which is a newly hired position for our county. It's really sad that we had to have a hired position, but the Anna Shelter hired Stevie on April 1st to come on board as a paid animal cruelty officer. Prior to that, she was working with Hope for Erie Animal Wellness. So I'd like to thank both organizations for they're both out of Erie County, but they kind of came into Crawford. They saw the need, they stepped up to the plate, and it was needed, it was necessary, and unfortunately necessary, but thankfully somebody took the reins. Literally.
And there were a lot you beat the pavement. You got a lot of people involved supporting this, giving discounts. We were getting tea and coffee every day from
the Java Tree Cafe. Yes, Melissa makes a mean snickerdoodle coffee. That's my favorite. But it was a nice community effort. It took 17 major sponsors to put the films out there so that they were free to the public. We had 2 goals this year. One was donations to the 3 501c3s. We had the Crawford County Humane Society, we had the Anna Shelter, and we had Hope for Erie Animal Wellness. And the other was to allow the public the chance to see these wonderful films for free. So different film blocks were sponsored by different we had individuals as well as businesses in the area, and we overfunded our festival. So before the films even went on the screen, the festival itself was able to have donations to those 3. We're just waiting for the final totals from everyone to find out how successful the fundraising event was.
I think too, with any event, you never know what the outcome is going to be. But the beauty of it is that even the pre-promotion and the post-promotion makes sure that anybody that got involved gets some exposure and is thanked for all that they've done. And so we've done a number of stories, a lot of social media. We'll do a follow-up story and video and what have you. So it's given Meadville a really nice boost.
Yes, and the last 2 days we're at the Gardner Theater, which was the 2nd floor of the Meadville Market House, and it's not a very well-known venue. So it did give the public a chance. I mean, I don't think there's many people out there now that would hear Gardner Theater and at least not think in the back of their mind, oh yeah, that's in the Market House. So we were just trying really hard to make it something where everybody had some ownership, because that's what this was. It was a chance for the city, not just me, but the city to say, we want a film festival.
Exactly. And I think that's what's so important, that you get a community getting together, coming together. And you saw that with the puppy parade, and you saw that on Saturday with the balloon maker and all the kids lining up. And then we had this one woman that was there for almost every single film.
Oh, God bless her, yes. My backside was falling asleep, and I was able to get up, and she was there, and unfortunately we actually had to say, we're ending the festival. There's a tornado possibly coming, and she was very disappointed. So yeah, she was there last year too.
Oh wow, and that was good. So are there any final words that you want to say?
I just want to thank the community, because honestly, without the sponsors, and I should have probably had my list with me, but you guys know who you are, and I want to personally thank you for everything that you did, all the support that you gave.
And for me, I stayed at the Mayor breakfast, bed and breakfast.
Mayor Lord Bed and Breakfast.
Mayor Lord Bed and Breakfast. Yeah. Lovely, lovely place.
That was provided by the Crawford County Visitors Bureau. We had one of the film blocks sponsored by Beth Haven Inn, which is where some of the other sponsors are staying. And we had our backdrop sponsored by Sandy Signworks, Sandy Arts Works, Reichel Films was involved, which is my company. We had private individuals, Dr. Zane Cherapovich, attorney Alan Pepicelli. We had the ICC in the Market House, and the Meadville Council on the Arts involved. We had, and I'm trying to go by memory here, Allegheny College sponsored Daphna's film, and had a wonderful chance for the film students at the college to sit down and have lunch with a filmmaker from Philadelphia, and it just so happened that Professor Keeley is from Philadelphia. So they had a little connection going there. Let me see, the VFW Post 2006, Veterans of Foreign Wars, Post 2006 sponsored the Healing with Horses block. Just running through here, we had, oh goodness.
You know what I'm
Habits Interior, Fine Print, we had so much support.
I think just all of that you're saying says so much, and can teach other people that when they put together an event like this, that you can get the support and you can divide and conquer. I mean, let everybody feel like they have a piece of the pie, Mm-hmm. So that was a wonderful thing. Well, Heather Reichel, we need to thank you, because if it weren't for you and, running around and talking to all these people and getting them engaged and stuff, this wouldn't have been the success that it was. So thank you very much.
Well, this year I didn't have to explain what a film festival was. It made it a lot easier.
So onward and upward. Thank you to the town of Meadville. Thank you to Mayor, who was so gracious about supporting everything.
Yes, Leroy has been always very supportive of everything that we have tried to do with the EQUUS Film Festival, and I'll tell you what, that makes it so much easier.
Just another wonderful event.
Yes.